folks, this right here is my Endler ecosystem tank that's in a 20 long, and it is now 150 days old. I have no idea where the time is when. It seems like just yesterday I was putting this tank together, but we have a lot that we need to do. We have some maintenance. I did just get home from vacation not too long ago, and the tank needs a little bit of a trimming and some algae control and whatnot. So we have a lot to take care of, and there's one rather big change that I would like to make to this aquarium towards the end. So let's waste no time. Let's get into it. So the first order of business is we need to trim or remove entirely this yellow leaf that's on the peace lily. I'm not sure why this particular stem is not doing so well, but we're going to go ahead and cut it and just remove it entirely. As far as the health of this peace lily, it is looking a little droopy, and that is mainly because, well, there's no light up here. And obviously this light dome, I don't keep this on 24/7, so yeah, it's getting all the nutrients it needs, but it is lacking light. As you can see, the leaves that are up here that are actually getting light from the window over here are doing a lot better, but as far as the leaves on the bottom, they're kind of looking a little sad. So perhaps maybe I should mount some sort of grow light solution up here. I don't know, but there we go. So my guess as to why this peace lily leaf in particular was not doing too well was, I think it was just in the water for an extended period of time. But yeah, nothing too crazy, just made a clean incision with scissors. I always find that when you cut it cleanly with shears, it always does better than if you just kind of rip it off. So yeah, moving on. And there we have it. Lunch for tomorrow. Can't wait. So what's next is we're going to give it a little trim. The Sagittaria is about to grow out of the water, And there's some other plants that I actually kind of want to move around a little bit as well. So yeah, let's waste no time. Alright, so we have our frog bit in here. We actually have some salvinia in here as well, which isn't doing too good. I'm not really sure why, but the frog bit is thriving in here. The salvinia isn't for some reason. But also check this out. I accidentally uprooted these in the process because the frog bit roots were actually going into the substrate, and when I was pulling the frog bit out, I accidentally uprooted some of the pennywort that was in the back that I planted in the last iteration of this tank build, or in the last video that I made about this. But yeah, check out how much it's grown. It's really cool. I only put a few cuttings in here, and it's kind of just carpeted itself. See how it kind of grows long instead of before it goes up, it kind of grows and spreads out on the ground. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Really like this plant. We'll go ahead and we'll probably plant this in a place where it's easier to see, because it did end up growing lower than anticipated. I thought it would grow up immediately, but it was just kind of creeping along the back behind the driftwood. Alright, so it's actually like 2 days later after declaring that I was gonna trim the tank and whatnot. Yeah, I got completely sidetracked, was working on another YouTube video. Actually, the last video that I posted, I was working on while shooting this one as well, so let's actually get to trimming. Yeah, let's get to it. So I'm not gonna do anything too crazy, just gonna trim down this dwarf Sagittaria. Actually, my bad. Sagittaria, I believe. Yeah, so somebody in the last video, or like I think it was in the 120-day update video, I called it dwarf Sagittaria. And someone was very quick to comment that it was not dwarf Sagittaria, but rather just Sagittaria, or some sort of different variant. So, yeah, as you can see, it's very tall. When I bought it, it was labeled as dwarf Sagittaria, which is what led me to believe that that's what it was. But I'm pretty certain the person that commented is right. It's an entirely different plant. So, yep, trimming this guy down, it helps stimulate the growth. And yeah, pretty much every time I trim it, I see new runners being formed, and it kind of just goes everywhere. So yeah, super cool. And I'm also going to cut this Rotala rotundifolia here. I'm actually going to trim this and then replant it. As you can see, the Echinodorus grandifolius is starting to make its way into the tank, and that's looking really good. I remember in the last video it was super beat up, and I was wondering if it was even going to bounce at all, but yeah, it's growing, it's taking its place, and yeah, can't wait to see it growing more. I think it looks super cohesive, especially with the Quiprenti brown. It kind of looks like the same plant in a sense, but it just plays really well together. It doesn't look too similar, but it just goes super well together. I think it just has to do with the similar stature and the size of the leaves maybe. But yeah, looks super cohesive. I'm realizing much more now that when you use plants that are of similar size, even if they look vastly different, the colors are vastly different, when they're in similar size, like the leaves look the same, like they're the same scale, that really adds to the cohesiveness. So just something to think about. You probably already caught this earlier, but we have a cutting of pothos in here, or pothos, sorry. Oops. Yeah, and it's starting to grow roots. And I just have it conveniently placed in the light bracket fixture thing. So yeah, I'm gonna let that grow out. It'll suck out the nitrates and kind of do the job that the peace lily is doing. back here we have a piece of Echinodorus grandifolius that is not doing too well. I'm going to go ahead and trim that. And with the sword plants or Echinodorus plants, you generally want to trim as low as you possibly can. Let's get that out of here. So this leaf here is actually from its immersed form. As you can see here, we have these two leaves side by side. We have this one and this one. They're actually from the same plant. This is after it's fully adapted to submerged environments, and this is what it looks like when it's in a humid environment, but it's out of the water. So eventually I'm expecting this leaf to die off, but it looks like it's doing fine. But when it starts to die back, I'll just go ahead and trim it just to prevent, having rotting plant matter in here, or in excessive amounts of it at least. But yeah, the plant is bouncing back. It's doing a lot better than it was when I put it in here, and I'm happy to see that. So there's one more thing I want to do. Well, actually, there's a couple of things, but this is the big one. So in here right now, we have UNS Contra sand. I believe it's the Monterey blend that's in here. It's an extremely coarse sand, and I think it looks wonderful. However, that being said, one of my biggest regrets is I kind of wish I created more of a transition into finer sand towards the slope back here. So that's kind of what we're going to do. So let's take a look at this tank and kind of see what we're dealing with. And let me show you all what I have in mind. So as you can see, we get this really coarse sand kind of here, but I kind of want to fade it out to a smaller sand over here, and I think this will look really cool. So what we're going to do is I'm going to remove a little bit of the Monterey sand that's kind of more towards the bottom of the slope, and then we're just going to pour in a nice blend of fine sand, and we should be able to create a nice little beach transition. The goal is to make this procedure as least invasive and destructive as possible, so let's get after it. Right, just gonna scoop some of this up. All right, so we got the amount of coarse sand out of here that we wanted. We just kind of got it out of the corner here, and yeah, we're just gonna kind of fill in that corner. So we have some sand here from a company called Supernatural Aquascapes. I like the sand, and here it is. It's been rinsed. It's a very dark color, and I think it doesn't necessarily match this exactly, but I think it'll blend nicely, and it should look pretty good. So obviously doing a procedure like this can be kind of risky if you don't plan thoroughly. So what's next is, as you can see, the water is a little cloudy. This is mainly from the dust from the sand, and I don't think it's that big of a deal. But that being said, just in case, I'm going to be doing a water change just to offset any of the potential excess nutrients that came out of the substrate layer. So it really doesn't hurt. So we're going to do a water change just to kind of help offset any of the disturbances that we might have caused with the water chemistry, and it will help clear up the water just a little bit quicker. So this right here is a pennywort from earlier. If you remember, I accidentally uprooted it when I was taking some plants out during the tidying process. But we're going to go ahead and plant it back in here. And maybe this time we'll put it in a more presentable area so we can actually see it this time. So here we are roughly 2 days later. Um, Things are looking really good. The fish in here are super feisty at the moment. I did just feed them, so they're going crazy. I was feeding them some frozen brine shrimp, and they love that stuff. But everything is looking really good in this tank, honestly. I'm really happy with the way that the sand beach transition to rocky landscape kind of turned out. Let me know what you all think. I'm super happy with the way they turned out. And the pygmies also seem to really enjoy the sand as well. So, yeah, that's an added bonus. Didn't mention that earlier, but that definitely holds true in here. I can't wait to share more with this tank. I have a lot more planned. It's not stopping here. So, I guess you all are just going to have to follow along in the next update video because there's so much more I want to do with this tank, and there's no stopping anytime soon. So thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll catch you all in the next one.